Meet Jim. At his company, Jim is responsible for marketing to generate new leads and prospects for his team. To attract new clients, Jim recently hosted a webinar to educate his leads and prospects about his company. However, Jim has been feeling frustrated since he ran into serious problems trying to host his webinar. Many of Jim's registrants simply forgot to show up or had scheduling conflicts that prevented them from being able to attend. Once the event started, his webinar software lagged, and some attendees became impatient and left. After the event, he found out some attendees couldn't even join the event because they had problems downloading the software. This is especially frustrating for Jim since he invested hours of hard work and dedication preparing this webinar for his attendees. Now, because of his webinar platform, he has lost out on clients and money for his business. Fed up with the frustrating experience of hosting a webinar with his existing platform, Jim begins to search for a new solution. And this is when Jim discovered JetWebinar. Jim found that JetWebinar allowed him to host his webinars on demand, while still benefiting from the live interaction that comes with hosting a typical live webinar. With JetWebinar, Jim simply chooses the days and times he wants to host events, and JetWebinar will run his pre-recorded events automatically for him. This gives Jim the power to scale his business to levels that are only possible by hosting automated webinars. His attendees are much happier since they have more options on when they can attend his events. They now find it much easier to fit Jim into their schedule. Even though his events are running on demand, his attendees are able to ask him questions in real time. Every time someone asks a question during an event, Jim gets a text message and an email so he can immediately respond to their question. Also, Jim makes it easier for his prospects to buy products and services on his webinars using special call-to-action buttons that pop up at key times during his presentation. This helps Jim engage with his prospects and close more sales. Now that Jim is hosting his webinars with JetWebinar, he is finding that he has much more time available to promote his webinars and market his brand. He easily creates more revenue for his company as he is able to reach more attendees at the same time. He is also finding that his attendees are much happier with their webinar experience since they are having less problems watching the webinar and can interact more with Jim during the event. To begin creating the kind of results that Jim is for his brand, start by signing up for a free trial of JetWebinar and see for yourself the results that you want to create from your webinars.